Hello everyone, so this is GS Mains Paper 3, July 2017 and this is the fifth part. Okay, so without wasting any time, we'll start. So the 26th topic, we have done up until 25 topics, right? Now the 26th topic is minimum support price. Again, remember, this is a part of farming subtopics which are there in GS Mains Paper 3. And this is specifically written in issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and minimum support prices, right? So in that particular, it is exactly subtopic number 5 of GS Mains Paper 3, right? So again, this is a very important topic because this exact topic is given in your syllabus. Now, there are certain issues, there are certain questions regarding MSP. First of all, who decides it? Second question is, why does it matter? And what are the issues which are confronting MSPs? Okay, now let's start. So first of all, who decides it? So the thing is, it is decided by Government of India, right? But on the recommendation of CACP. What is CACP? Commission of Agricultural Cost and Prices. Now, it was set up when it was set up in 1965. It was called Agricultural Prices Commission. It was renamed as CACP in 1985. Now, why MSP matter? What are the objectives of MSP, right? There are two objectives of MSP. First thing is to provide fair return to efficient farmers. Second thing is to protect interest of consumers by keeping prices of food and other agricultural commodities at reasonable levels. Okay, so that's why MSP matters. Now, what are the issues which are confronting MSPs? So there are four issues. There are four major issues which are confronting MSP, and do listen to it again and again because these are very important issues. This you can write in any these four issues. Now you can write it any farming related issues. These are so important. So the first issue is delay in setting up of procurement centers. You know what are procurement centers? Where farmers can go and sell their produce. So there is a delay in setting up of procurement centers. Second issue, exploitation by commission agents who are called RTRs and who mostly buy produce from farmers below MSP on one pretext or another. First case was delay in setting up a procurement center. Second case is of these middlemen, these commission agents who are buying produce for farmers below MSP, right? Third issue is farming not remunerative for majority of small and marginal farmers. We have seen that 80-85% of the farming community are small and marginal farmers, and for them farming is not it's not a remunerative option, right? They're doing it just because they have to do it. Now, what is the fourth issue? The fourth issue is middlemen is causing disparity in price, taking advantage of complexities in supply chain because of these absence of procurement centers. So these middlemen are taking advantage of these loopholes, and there's a gap between the price of produce which is got from the price of the produce which farmer gets and the price at which it is sold to the consumer. There's a substantial gap, and that gap has to be bridged. That gap has to be reduced because that gap is becoming more and more with each passing day. Okay, so this is about minimum support price. You know now who decides it, why does it matter, and issues confronting MSP, and you also know the way forward, right? So the way forward is establishment of more and more procurement centers, right? Removal of or elimination of these middle agents. Third, making farming more remunerative for small and majority farmers by providing the insurance coverage and all those things, right? Okay, and fourth is bridging the gap between price of produce and everything. So if you know the issues confronting, so you can write the way forward, and way forward is very important when you're writing any answers. Okay, and remember, MSP is provided for 20 odd crops. No need of remembering how many total crops because they are not going to ask you, UPSC is not going to ask you that. Although UPSC has become so unpredictable these days that you can say nothing about it, what they are going to ask, what they are going to not, but still cover everything you can cover under the sun, right? And please make notes. So let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is labor laws, India's labor laws. There's a guy who has called that India's labor laws are anti-employment, right? And who is that guy? He's Singapore Deputy PM. And what is Singapore? Singapore is a city-state which is known for their labor laws, which is known for their professionalism all around the world, right? They have spread, and they have, what do you say? They are one of the most prosperous city-states in the world, right? Now, what are the other statements given by Singapore Deputy PM? He has said that job is India's biggest challenge that must be addressed urgently to ensure demographic dividend does not turn into demographic crisis. We have a demographic dividend. If you want it to remain like this, we have to create jobs. Otherwise, it will turn into demographic crisis. The second statement by him is gap between laggard and advanced state in India is becoming wider. So just take an example of Gujarat and take an example of Bihar or Odisha. So the gap between such means advanced states like Gujarat and laggard states like Bihar is increasing, and that has to be bridged. Okay, now there is a global trend where people trust in democratic institutions, be it government, parliament or media, is eroding faster than their trust in global institutions. Now what does it mean? Understand it very carefully. Like the thing is, what is the meaning of these deep statement is, right now we are not so hopeful about our parliament as we are hopeful about UN, or we are not as hopeful about our country's situation as hopeful we are about other countries' situation or other countries' institution. So that is what is happening, right? Okay. Now this is whole. India's labor laws are anti-employment, and this is lots of people are saying, and now Singapore Deputy PM has echoed the same sentiment. So we have to do something about it. It's very rigid. It's very tough to remove an employer because of these rigid laws, right? So that's why they go for contractual labors and everything. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is inflation and joblessness. Okay. Now there are certain questions, like if I ask you right now which is most sensitive challenge, most of you will say that joblessness is a most sensitive challenge, but you will get a different answer. Again, what is India's inflation record? We'll see in this article, and what are those inflations which are welcomed, right? You will also see an example for that. If I ask you an example of an inflation which is welcomed, very few people will be able to tell it. Even I would not have been able to tell it if I had not read that article. So let's talk about it. Now, inflation is politically more sensitive challenge than joblessness. Why? Because it doesn't matter whether you're employed or not, right? Inflation affects everyone, right? So inflation is politically more sensitive challenge than joblessness, as it affects everyone whether you have a job or not. Okay. Now, India's long-term record in managing inflation is impressive when compared with most developing countries, right? We didn't have any bouts of hyperinflation as experienced in many Latin American economies or even Israel. Now, what is Latin America? Latin America is whole of South America, which speak Romantic language. You can check about all those Romantic languages, right? Iberian languages they're actually called, and it also includes Mexico, which is a part of Northern America, but it also comes under Latin America, because it was also under Spanish and Italian rule for a certain period of time. So that is Latin America. Okay, now so what this article is saying, that unlike these countries, these Latin American countries where hyperinflation was there, India never suffered from these hyperinflation, right? Now we had a double-digit inflation between 2010 to 2013, which was an aberration, which was an exception. Okay, and again, not all inflation are unwelcome. Example is stock prices. If the prices of stock grows, so it helps people who are investing in those stock prices and who have bought those stock prices at a lower price, right? So example is stock prices. Stock prices inflation is always welcomed by people, right? But again, it depends which side you are lying on. But mehengai, there is a term which is called mehengai. It is hated by all. Okay. So I will stop at here, this particular point of time only, right? There are 3-4 more articles which are remaining, which we'll cover in the next next video. And yeah, please do share the video, please, because sharing is caring, right? Thank you. God bless you all.